Bob Nightengale, USA Today. Pleasure to have you back on the airwaves, at least with me here in the Capital Region. Good morning to you.
Yeah, morning, Roger. Good to hear your voice.
Yeah, always a pleasure. I moved, I switched to a new home. I'm now on ESPN Radio in Albany. Great to have you aboard. And I guess a timely interview because we roll tonight. Baltimore at Toronto. First of all, do you like these one-game winner-take-all scenarios? How about we start there?
I mean, they're fun. I'm not sure they're exactly fair, considering you play 162 games and you could be out, within 24 hours. But TV loves it, and I think the only other way you could do it is if you had a best of three, Roger, but it would have to be no days off, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then you move into the division series. Because otherwise, the division teams, the winners, are going to be sitting around for just too long.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's fair, but I do like it. I really do like the drama of the one and done, and we'll get it tonight. Who do you give the edge to, Bob? Baltimore at Toronto?
I'll give a slight edge to Toronto. I think they're the better overall team. Stroman, I think, loves these big moments. So I think I like Stroman. Tillman's obviously a stud, big-time pitcher, the ace of the staff. But with the home field and the crowd going crazy, I'll give a slight edge to Toronto.
All right, it's Tillman at 16-6, Stroman at 9-10. The pitching matchup. I'm reading your article today, your column today, lead in the USA Today. Kim once booed and now beloved. That's pretty cool. I mean, Hyun Soo Kim, I guess, came to spring training and they wanted to send him at the end of spring to the minors, right? And because of the way his contract is structured, he refused to go. Turned out to be a pretty good move that he didn't go because he's been a really good player since for the Baltimore Orioles.
Yeah, he's been a great left-handed bat for him, and they hit by the biggest home run or maybe even biggest hit this season when he hit that pinch hit two-run homer a week ago against Toronto. If he doesn't do that, the Orioles might be sitting home today.
And also sounds like he's pretty darn popular in the clubhouse.
Yeah, impersonates everybody, fun-loving guy, even impersonates the manager. Yeah. And even Showalter got kicked out of it.
Yeah, and Showalter said he was very accurate in the impersonation, but Buck said, "I'll get back at him." He's had great support with his teammates, and they love him. All right, so you're going Toronto though with a win tonight over Baltimore to move on, and then that winner will take on Texas in the best of 5 on Thursday. The big one around here, Bob, is going to be Bumgarner and Syndergaard tomorrow night in New York. Mets and San Francisco Giants. Break that one down. I mean, both these pitchers are capable of pitching gems. I know Bumgarner just has that reputation of being so good in these spots.
He does, but he's not quite the same pitcher as a year ago, Roger. I mean, he's good, but not just lights out. Kind of reminds you of Jake Arrieta of the Cubs. Been good this year, but not the same kind of dominance. So we'll see. I mean, I think you can argue that Johnny Cueto's our best pitcher, but you got to go Bumgarner. I mean, he's been their pride and joy. Obviously, Syndergaard gives the Mets a great chance. They've had a lot of good things, magic going for them. Jay Bruce is hot now. I give a slight edge to the Giants, and I really believe that the Giants are the only team in the National League, maybe in all of baseball, beating the Cubs. Well, just because that starting rotation. If it was a best of 5 or best of 7 with the Mets, I would say the Giants would wipe them out. But being a one-game take-all, it's almost a coin flip.
It really is. Because, look, Syndergaard on August the 21st, Bob, pitched a gem against the San Francisco team in a 2-0 shutout. So he is more than capable. I agree with you. I don't think Bumgarner has been great in the second half. The Giants really, as a team, right, second half of the season since the All-Star break, really do not have a very strong win-loss record, although they did win, 4 in a row to get in here.
Yeah, exactly. They, for a while there, they had the worst record of any team in baseball in the second half after having the best record in baseball in the first half. The bullpen crumbled. They weren't hitting. They got hot at the right time, swept the Dodgers down the stretch to get in, avoid a play-in game. And their rotation's been solid all year, so that's been the steadiest thing. But, if they can get past tonight, and when you can throw, Cueto and Moore in Samardzija, then back to Baumgartner against the Cubs. If I'm the Cubs, I'm rooting big time for the Mets. I really am.
Talking with Bob Nightengale. He's the lead writer, senior writer, USA Today when it comes to baseball, and got the front page column today. What's your take, Bob, on this Mets team this year? You know what happened last year. We know what the expectations were. But then you don't predict what happened to their starting rotation, and now it's pretty much Syndergaard, Cologne, and then then there's a pretty good drop off. But a lot of guys, Bob, have stepped up to get them to even where they are. What's your thoughts on the job that Terry Collins has done this year and this Mets season as a whole?
I think the job that Terry has done has been remarkable. He's not going to win Manager of the Year. I'd put him in the top three. I thought this team was going to have a letdown. Just everything was going right with that rotation last year. Cespedes saved them. And so you can kind of, those guys pitching all career high innings last year, you kind of had a sense that, it's not going to happen. And so kudos to them that getting by it. You lose, three everyday players, in Wright and Walker and Duda, who's finally back. Guys like Granderson only having 59 RBIs, even though he has 30 home runs. So you can go on and on. But he's kept his team together. I think the Mets are going to be, I'm going to take them to win the World Series a year from now, because I think those guys will come back healthy, fresh, and they'll really be a strong team. I think, they're kind of limping in the playoffs. Even if they win tomorrow night, I'd be shocked if they beat the Cubs. Yeah. I think it'd be the biggest upset in the postseason, maybe since the Dodgers beat the Mets or the A's back in '88.
I would say I agree with you. I don't think there's I shouldn't say any chance. It's sports. Anything can happen. But if they get by tomorrow night, I think they're going to. For some reason, I think that the Mets are going to win tomorrow night. Maybe Cespedes gets a hold of one and with a guy on, and they win a 2-0 kind of game. Or maybe with the red hot, all of a sudden, red hot Jay Bruce goes deep tomorrow night and Syndergaard pitches lights out. But there's no, I would say, not going to beat the Chicago Cubs. I don't think either of these two teams will beat the Cubs. I really like the Cubs a lot to get to the World Series, and then we'll see what happens. But back on the Mets, what's going to happen with Jay Bruce? Been kind of interesting since he's come over from the Reds. Boy, he's been in a major slump. Terry Collins had to pinch hit for him a few weeks ago, the first time that Bruce has ever been pinch hit before in his career, and yet here he is right now swinging a hot bat at the right time.
Yeah, and good for him. A wonderful guy. Great guy. They'll bring him back, and he'll be much more comfortable next year. We see it all the time in the Roger, when a guy, especially a free agent, signs with a team, that first year is always awful because the guys put so much self-inflicted pressure on himself. And I think the same thing. Here's Jay Bruce from Texas playing a small seat in Cincinnati. Let's be honest. I mean, he did not want to be traded to New York. I mean, it's just, all of a sudden you have all the reporters, all the pressure and expectations, and it's tough. And you'll see a different Jay Bruce next year. And at least he got hot here, and we'll see what he does tomorrow night. But certainly they'll pick up that option, and he'll be a much better player.
How deep of a run are the Boston Red Sox going to have when you look at their starting rotation, Bob? And pretty good. They can score runs. Betts has had an MVP season. How about your thoughts on this Boston Red Sox team?
Well, I think the Red Sox, when I picked to get to the World Series to begin with, everybody thought it was crazy, but I just thought with David Price going over there and that he was going to make a big difference. And even though, he didn't have a Cy Young type season, I think his presence made Porcello a Cy Young winner. Just those young guys came up. I believe Betts should be the MVP of the American League. I like them a lot. And they should trounce the Indians in the first round. Second round, my heart tells me the Red Sox, my head tells me the Rangers. I think the Texas Rangers are the best team in the American League. They're a fabulous team with a great lineup.
So who's your World Series matchup right now before we get set here with these two wild card games? Who do you have in the World Series? And are you sticking with the prediction that you made before the start?
Yeah, I'll stick with the same thing with the Cubs over the Red Sox in the World Series. But tell you what, I would not be surprised at all to see Cubs and Texas. I do believe that Texas is the best team in that league. And if I'm the Red Sox, I'm pretty scared about that bullpen. Kimbrel has not been right, very wild in his control. And, it's going to be very shaky. I'll be interested to see if they turn to Uhara here in the postseason, if Kimbrel starts struggling in a game or so. You can't afford to, smooth egos right now. You just got to go with the hot hand.
And Bob, if that ends up being true, can you imagine what the ratings will be like if it's the Red Sox and Cubs in the World Series? Wow.
There'll be a party right there at the in New York at the MLB offices. I mean, ratings are probably the highest it's been in 20, 30 some years, and people go crazy with that. Yeah, and that's what MLB wants. They want the Cubs there badly, and who better than the Red Sox? Well, rematch the 1918 World Series when the Red Sox won it.
High drama, no doubt. Bob Nightengale, USA Today. I appreciate a few minutes. We'll get back in touch. But thanks for coming on Big Board Sports and 104.5 The Team here in Albany.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Thank you, Roger.
Thank you, Bob. Appreciate it.